You want to say hi? Oh, Luna May. Say hi, everybody. My name's Luna May, and I'm getting chubby because I'm eating good. Aren't you? Yes, you are. You're eating so good. You're eating so good. You're a good girl. See, I'm a good girl. I'm a good girl. I'm such a good girl. Oh, see, I'm such a good girl. Love you, love you, love you. Oh, I love you too. See, I'm such a good girl. See, I snore so loud. I snore so loud, it's pathetic. Say hi. Say hi, my name's Luna May. My name's Luna May. Put your ears up. Show me how pretty you are with your ears up. You're not getting on the table. No, ma'am. Show me how pretty you are. Put your ears up. Luna May. Good girl. Let's take her. Go play. Go play. Go get your sloth and play. Go get your sloth and play. Go on. Go get your sloth and play. Go get your sloth. Go get Mr. Sloth. You can't stay in my lap. She wants to stay in my lap. Come here. Come on. Come on. Oh my goodness, Luna May. Oh my goodness, Luna May. Say hi. My name is Luna May. Yeah. Say hi. My name is Luna May. Say it pretty. See, I have a new collar on the way because this one I just don't like it, and it makes her ugly. Got her a little pink one with her name and her number on it. She's put on probably 1.5 pounds. Can you hear it? Yeah, so we gotta get her fattened up. Yes, we gotta get her fattened up. Gotta get her fattened up. Gotta get her fattened up. See, I don't mind baths, but I hate hair dryers. Yes. What are you looking at? What are we looking at? Footprints on the ceiling? What are we looking at? She hates hair dryers, but she doesn't mind baths. See, I had my first flea pill. Say it's getting like my tummy, so but I'll get better. Yeah, and so the vet's gonna boost me and spay me as soon as I gain some more weight, because she's a little underweight. Oh, I love you too. She's a little underweight, so we're gonna get her taken care of as soon as she gets in a healthier spot. She's little. She's gained a lot of weight, but she's still a little scrawny. Her little backbone still shows in some places, but she's gaining some weight, y'all. She's looking pretty good. Okay, go play. She's like, I'm gonna wait and see this guy when he comes in. So, where's my hook? Where's my hook? So I've got a possum here. I've got to embroider his eyes, but I did a lighter color one and a different color tail. I did like a salmon pink instead of that lavendery pink. And I'm going to try to finish this up really quick. And then, you can't look out the window. I don't have it fixed. She likes to look out the window. She's the strangest dog. We're going to stuff, and the only thing you stuff in this one is his head. And you tie the string from the body up here to the head, just as an extra anchor point, I guess. I don't know. That's what they tell you to do in the pattern, so that's what I'm doing. I've made 3 of these possums now. It's been a long week. I made 3 of these possums. Back up here, I forgot my stuffings. I need to stuff his head and visit with her because she's not, I'm not taking her down the hill yet. She needs to get really used to being here and secure. So I'm back and forth, and I've got to finish a coyote fur mantle that I don't want to have to blind stitch it all by hand because that's what I'm looking at if I do it here. So I may pick it up and take it down there and finish it. And my tomatoes and cucumbers and beans are doing great, so I had to weed them. So just stuffed his head. What I'm going to do is just try to finish this up. Do you hear somebody? Who do you hear? So that person that feeds me. Where are you going? Where are you going? What are you doing? What are you doing? You can't stay in my lap, Luna. I know you want to, but you can't stay in my lap. Oh, Luna. You're like a little kid, Luna. You're like a little kid, Luna. Say hello. I'm Luna, and I'm a toddler. Say yes, I'm a toddler. Don't get off the table. You know that. Say hello. My name's Luna, and I'm a toddler. She's precious. She's sweet. You can tell she's been poorly treated at some point because she has some inherent fears that you don't know where they came from. And you can only anticipate somebody's been super mean to her. She was a female that was kept in a puppy mill and bred. She's only like 3.5 years old. I can only imagine what she's been through. She's terrified of hair dryers. You can bathe her all day long, but don't you dare turn on a hair dryer. So we towel dry her. Thank God she's short hair. She does really good. I don't like this collar, so we've got a new one coming with her name and phone number on it. So she gets loose, somebody will yell at me. Right? Are you gonna go sleep? Are you gonna go sleep? You can go sleep. And then I'm looking into just a wireless dog fence that I can take with me, plug it in wherever I am, and put a perimeter on it, and just can't get past that perimeter. They're not super expensive, so I'm looking at that so I don't have to put up stuff everywhere. And so we'll do a wireless and put up a little color flag so she knows that's as far as she can go. Because when she puts Scoots and Boogie, she don't come back. She just likes to run and play. She's real good if you yell at her and call her name, she'll come back. But when she gets to chasing, she loves to chase bugs. She'll chase a bumblebee through the whole yard. So you have to be careful with her. Isn't that right? I'm telling on you. I'm telling on you. Hey, look. Annette's a cute dog. Are you cute? So I gained like 1.5 pounds in a week. Yay! A week and 2 days, she's gained 1.5 pounds. Yeah, 1.5 pounds. You're getting fat. Yes, you are. She was just underweight, and so we went to get the flea pill at the vet, and me and the vet decided she needed to gain some weight and get a little bit more stable, and then we'll spay her and all that stuff. So spay her and boost her. She's had her shots, she just needs a booster. See, I was a female at a big puppy mill, and they treated me horrible, and then the people I got her from, they rescued her, and we are her forever home. Cute. I'm being mean, ain't I? Yes, I'm being mean. Yes, I'm being mean. You want to go play, or you going to ask to get back in my lap? Or you going to go play? She'll just sit with you all day long. She sleeps on her back and snores. But she'll just sit with you all day long. She's happy in your arms, which cracks me up. But she's like a baby. You can just pack her around like a baby, and she doesn't care. She doesn't care. Go play. Go get Mr. Sloth and play with Mr. Sloth while I'm here. Go on. Look at Mr. Sloth. She's had a bath and played and had a good day. Look, turn this fan on. It's not really hot here, but it's warm. And I'm used to air conditioning now, which is pathetic. But what I've been doing is working on, let me take this extra stuff with me. I've been working on my third possum. I did a lot of color pink tail. And I got to embroider his eyes. I'm doing embroidery on everything so that everything's baby safe. You know, you shouldn't drag yarn around with you. It creates these things. But you gotta do what you gotta do. So I did his body in a half double crochet, and I'm doing his head in half double as well, though I started out in single, and then I switched to half double to cover some ground, and I don't mind that. I think it is pretty, and you cover a lot more ground with your half double crochets. I also started, I don't know what it's going to end. If it's going to end up to be an Afghan, a shawl, a shirt, a lap blanket, I don't know, but I started a skein of, it's called Night Sky yarn. And it's color transitions. What are you doing? It's color transitions, and it's very pretty. It goes from like purple with glitter spots for the night sky to like all the layers of the sunset. I'm glad I found her too. She's a sweetheart. She just kind of landed in her lap. That's normally how the dogs I have find us. They just land in my lap. It's weird. Luna May, sit down. You can go lay down. I don't have to be sitting in there for you to lay down. You can lay down in the chair. You know that. You want to lay down. You can go on and lay down. You're not getting back up in the... You're going to have to sit still. She wants me to hold her 24/7. and that's just not possible. For everybody that's wondering, my nephew's wife had the baby, is a little girl, and they're both doing great. So the family has gained another youngin', and I'm going to be at the farm babysitting Ollie there, so Mom and Dad can go see her. So I'm going to babysit the hamburger pen and the farm and Oliver. So I'm running today. I want to pick up a coyote hide that I've been working on a fur mantle, but I don't want to have to blind stitch it all, so I thought I'm just going to take it down there and line it. So I don't, if I do it up here, when I'm up here, I have to blind stitch it. Y'all, I hate to blind stitch everything. It's time consuming, and on a whole coyote hide, do you know how long that's going to take? Oh my gosh. So I thought I'll just take it down there and use the industrial sewing machine and get it done real quick. Had a very odd experience. Hi, Serendipitous. Had a very, Luna May. Is that your whistle? Is that your whistle? Come here. Serendipitous is in here. You can say hi. Oh, Lord, Luna, you're getting flat. Okay. Get your feet up. There you go. So we had a very weird experience. So I got pretty pointy ears. She had really pretty conformation. I can see why they bred her, but boy, they shouldn't have bred her as much as they did. I feel bad when she went through her first 2 years of life, 2.5. Yeah, she's a good girl. She's a good girl. Oh, she's a good girl. Oh, she's a good girl. You're a stinker pot. Are you a stinker pot? Are you a stinker pot? Oh, you're a stinker pot. Oh, she's a stinker pot. She's a snoring little stinker pot. Are you a snoring little stinker pot? You gonna go to sleep? Okay, she likes to lay her head back and just crash out on you. She's so funny. She gonna go to sleep just like this. Just you going to sleep? Why don't you go sit in that chair over there like you like to do? What, you want me to hold you like a baby? I'll hold you like a baby. You hold you like a baby? She's like, no, I only want my head to go backwards. You just want to go to sleepers? Are you just wanting to go to sleepers? Oh my goodness, she's gonna go to sleep on me. Okay, so we had a weird experience. So Gypsy was telling me about, I don't know if I'm gonna say it right or not, Sheltawi Artist Guild. They have a market day, and it's an open to the public market day, but you have to put in an application and pay a fee like everywhere else that David goes. And so since it was close to Gypsy, I thought, well, I'll put it in. She had told me, oh, you should try to go to this. It's a pretty big deal. So I thought, well, I need to visit Gypsy anyway. I'll put in an application and pay the fee. It wasn't too bad. And I'll go pack up the Jeep with what I can handle, go spend the night with her, and then she'll come and help me at the market, and then I'll stay that night as well. Get a visit with her, spend a couple of days together, and she can put some of her paintings and stuff out as well. And I thought, well, that'll make a good trip. Okay, you can go to sleep. Go on, you can go to sleep. I'll hold you. You're the weirdest dog. And so I put in an application, and I just affixed David's number to it because 9 times out of 10, if they need to talk to somebody, they really need to talk to him because I'm out of pocket or out of cell reception and all that crap. Well, they messaged him and said, we got your application. We would like to see what types of creations you make. And David said, well, I'm not at home right now. I'm out of pocket, he said, but he said, we do anything with fur, a lot of bone and tooth jewelry. And he said, I do skulls and tanning, garment quality tanning, and my wife makes ribbon catchers and native-inspired rattles and ceremonial sticks. And he said she's Irish and got some Cherokee in her. And I like to tan. She likes to make this stuff, and we just keep the culture kind of going. And they said, well, we'd like to see some pictures. He said, well, all I've got is pictures of my skulls and hides on my phone. I'll have to send the others later. He sent like 3 pictures. And within like a minute and a half, they said, well, you don't really fit into our bubble. And so we're going to deny your application. Which irritated me. It truly irritated me. And so I messaged them on Facebook Messenger, and I said, excuse me, I said, but if you're having an open market day and somebody puts an application and offers to pay, I said, and what they're doing is regulated and approved by the federal government. Everything's legal. All the fur is legal. All the bones are from legally harvested animals. I said, and I'm maintaining a culture and sharing my history and culture with y'all. And I said, he's sharing his history and culture. I said, wouldn't you want to preserve that artisan craftsmanship? And they're like, no. And so I sent more pictures of the detail things that I make, the bags and the jewelry and all that stuff, and the dream catchers. And they said, well, do you bead? I said, not all cultures centered on beading. And I said, Cherokees, you know, they do some beading, but it's mostly for like dances, and it's not prevalent like it is in the Navajo or what is it, the Ojibwa. It's not as prevalent. I said we were more of the woodsman craftsmen. And they said, well, only if you beaded would we accept you. I said, no, wait. I said, so you're going to dictate my culture and tell me I have to learn to do this, even though my culture is not heavily prevalent upon that. But that's the only way I can get into your artisan guild. I said, y'all need to have a heads up, because you wouldn't do this to any other group of people. I said, I'm sure if another group of people that didn't look like me asked to be here and you denied them and said only if you did X, Y, and Z would we accept you, I said, they would scream racism, bigot, oppression, you're marginalizing me, and all this other crap. And I said, y'all need to think about this. I said, I thought artists always appreciated art, even if you don't, you know, agree with how someone else works in their medium. You normally appreciate the skill that goes into it. And they were like, we have a jury of 5 people, and they all voted and said no. I said, you didn't talk to 5 people in 1 minute and 43 seconds. I said, I used to work for the pro board. I said, it took them 5 weeks to convene. I said, I find all this a little ugly, and I said, condescending, and I said, I get what you're doing. I said, you want to have control over your market day so that art represents you. I said, but that's not art. I said, so I don't think art lives in your artisan guild. I said, I think it's a bunch of snooty people that want to manicure people into a perfection idea. And I said, I don't think art lives there. And then they were like, well, if you would show us some beading. I said, you couldn't pay me to come there now. And I said, I don't bead. So that was irritating. That was a little irritating, because y'all know as well as I do, any other culture would scream, I'm fixing to sue you. And it really irritated me. And Mark, I know, I was like, excuse me, but you can't do this. This is what other people get lawsuits for. And they did not care. We did not fit into their bubble. And I thought, well, I'm probably really glad I don't fit into your bubble, because your bubble seems very boring. And they said, well, we're more of a painting, sculpture. And I said, it just says market day. I said, I don't want into your guild. I just want to attend market day and set up. And I did not like them. No, ma'am. You know your food's in that cabinet, don't you? No, ma'am. She's starting to understand stuff here. She responds really good to correction. If you say no, ma'am, or bad dog, like I did to Benny, or to Oscar and Benny, she will be like, oh crap, okay. And she wants to learn what not to do again. So she's doing really good with just verbal correction. But I am going to invest in the wireless dog fence, and then show her I'm going to set it on the same amount of feet each place. And then I'm going to lead her and show her where the boundaries are at each place and get her used to it. And that way, she's going to recline her to sit down. No, ma'am. Leave my crochet hooks alone. Sit down. I know you want to go to sleep, but I can't hold you right now. So look what you're here. You must hold me. Come here. Oh my goodness, Lord of May. So I gained 1.5 pounds this week. I'm going to be a chubby little girl. She's so skinny when we got her, though. And it was hard for her to hold food down. I think it's because she was always rushed eating with the other dogs, other rescues. And, of course, little dogs notoriously have upper respiratory issues and have to eat slower. And, oh, I love you, too. And, but she's done really well here. The flea pill didn't like her tummy. You going to play now? The flea pill didn't like her tummy, but she'll get better with that, the vet said, as her stomach gets better. But she has to have a flea pill. We're one of those homes. You need a flea pill. So she's going to have to be spayed and boosted. as soon as the vet wants her to have a few more pounds on her. She's fixing to go sleep. She will sleep like this. Yeah, you're pretty. You're a pretty girl. Show me how pretty you are. Your ears up, Luna May. Put your ears up. Oh, see, I'm so pretty. It's a little RCA dog. See, I'm so pretty. 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 You're so pretty. You're so pretty. You smell so good. You have a bath and everything. Okay, you can play. Go wander around. Go on. Go on. No, we're not playing musical Mama's lap. She wants to go to sleep so bad. She's like, you need to come over here and sit down so I can go to sleep. If I'm in a recliner, she wants my legs scooted over so she can lay right by my legs. And she's quite territorial too. She's not mean about it, but she's just like, that's where I'm supposed to sit. Move your legs. But she likes to be touching you, and if she's asleep, she'll reach her paw and land on you somewhere just to know you're there. So a lot of her insecurities, you can tell that she has them, but she's working through them pretty good. She's doing better when she kennels really well, except for if you leave her for long amounts of time. Sometimes she'll do really good, and sometimes she'll get really distraught. And so we're just working through that. And that's why I'm not toting her back and forth right now. I'm just kind of going and making sure I see her a lot and running a lot right now. Because I want her to get really secure here before we change her settings often. So when she gets really good here and some of the quirks are better, then we'll take her down and I'll let her start getting used to the farm. I don't want to overwhelm her. Luna May! What are you doing? Where'd you go? You're going down the hallway. She does not know what fur is. And so she wants to investigate everything. Taxidermy was new. She had to look at all the taxidermy, and she was terrified by Bob the Bobcat. That's at the end of the bed on that bookshelf. She was terrified of him. So we had to prove to her that all the taxidermy was dead, didn't we? Because you thought you was going to have to protect somebody, didn't you? Yes, you did. You thought you was going to have to protect somebody and said, all the taxidermy's dead. I don't need to protect anybody. All the taxidermy's dead. See, I was fixing to go to war. She was fixing to go to war. She's like, it's beyond nap time, people. I'm supposed to be taking a nap. Oh my gosh, I'm tired. Are you tired? Are you tired? Oh, she's tired. Oh, she's tired. You want a nap? You want a nap? Why don't you go lay down Daddy's chair? Why don't you go lay down Daddy's chair, you little bitty go? If I put you there, will you stay there? Let me go put her down. Here. You sit right here and take a nap. There you go. Sit down. Lay down, take a nap. Lay down. Oh, you're not following me. No, we're not going back outside. We're just outside. And she heard David pull up. He's unloading wood. He went to cut wood today, I guess. And she hears him outside. She's like, let's go outside. But she's doing good. She's doing good. But she has put on quite a bit of weight. We're trying to do it gradual, but she was just so skinny, you can tell she's put on quite a bit of weight. We got Sherry and Sal and Serendipitous and Annette. I just thought I'd pop in because we've got Liba cats. Thought I'd pop in and say howdy because I've just been back and forth and run absolutely ragged. Luna, sit down. She's going to wander around like a toddler until she falls over somewhere. So this is my third possum this week. In the last 7 days. This is my third possum. I did this one in a salmon pink instead of that lavender pink. So I've been working on this, and I'm fixing to turn this. I got it shined up and all the price stickers and stuff off of it. I'm fixing to turn this Watusi Longhorn thing into a rattle. And then I think I'm going to take the coyote back down the hill so I can use Mom's Juki because I don't like the thoughts of having to blind stitch that whole thing. So it's just going to load up with me and go back down the hill. The neighbor guy, they had his memorial service last night at one of the area churches. Haven't seen anyone over here except for the boy. The RV lady left. I guess she stopped her David. This is what David told me. She stopped him in the driveway one morning. She said, have you seen any vehicles pulling in and out? And he said, no, other than you and the people you know. He said, no. And she said, well, generator's gone missing, and my trailer's gone missing, and a bunch of other stuff had gone missing. And David said, so, well, you put your trailer right in the den of thieves. He said, so what do you expect? She swears she didn't know about the history over there in that boy. Luna Mae, sit down. Scooter. She sneezed. And, but she has now left, so the RV is gone. She didn't seem like a horrible lady. She said that she was told it was like an RV park. And so while she was at work, she had her RV put there. But here's the thing. If that's your home, would you let somebody just drag it somewhere you didn't know where it was going, you had never seen? So I have problems with her story. So that's just how I feel about that. It's just how I feel about that. So, but it's been a while since we had, looked out and not seen a big Winnebago looking thing, and now it's gone. So I guess she got tired of things missing. And she was like, well, how come stuff didn't go missing from your yard? He said, because they know what happened if stuff goes missing from my yard. So it's a bad scenario for everyone involved. It's a bad scenario for everyone involved. I don't know what they're going to do now. I don't think they know what they're going to do now. I'm hoping that the little lady can get into like a Section 8 or elderly community and have some quiet time and get her health back and live in a better situation. I don't want anybody living in a bad situation. But y'all know how many people I told, you need to have somebody check on this. Those people don't need to be there. Their age and their health, they don't need to be there. And he certainly, when I saw him trying to take stuff apart, he certainly did not need to be there. He didn't know what he's doing, bless his heart. He scared me that day. I thought, well, that whole thing's going to fall on him. He doesn't know what he's doing. And I had spoken with 3 different people who had also, they said, had spoken to other people as well. And we were trying to get some kind of aid group to find them a place to stay because they did not need to be there. But you can't tell everybody what to do, sadly. So, but getting kicked out of a market group because we don't fit the bill, that was kind of funny. It was amusing, but I'm sitting here going, I told them, I said, this is a learning experience for y'all, so because y'all better not make a habit of this. I said, because somebody who's really cantankerous, I said, who won't be just content to tongue lash you a little bit, I said, I'll see you blind. And I said, art is subjective, and I said, you should not think that you've got some kind of control over this. I said, you do an open market day and people pay a fee to be there. I said, it should be equal opportunity unless there's more of one of that type of craft there. And I said, is there more than one fur person there? They said, well, no. So, you're not going out. We were just out. And you said it was hot. You wanted to go back in. You're sleepy. You need a nap. You're like a toddler. Go sit down. Oh, Lord. She will just walk. She will just walk to keep herself awake and just walk to keep herself awake. I love it when y'all talk to each other and say howdy. Oh, Luna Mae, you're getting too fat to do that. So that's what we've done this week. Pretty much that's about it. I've crocheted. We've been on baby weight and baby watch. Now the baby's here. So my nephew's wife had the baby. Beautiful little girl. Everybody's good. So I'll be down there putting that coat and fur mantle together and watching the place while Mom and Dad probably go visit the baby. While Mom's able and Dad's able, they're going to try to go and visit. And I think Mom doesn't have any more health stuff until the 11th, I think. So I'll probably be back down the hill, and then I've got, I think the 8th, I've got a repeat EKG. They're going to monitor my heart from now on because of the medicine I have to be on when it does go tachycardic to correct it. So they're just going to do routine EKGs. And instead of 1 a month, they said we're likely to do 2. And I said, that's fine. So I've got to go on, I think the 8th. I'll have to check. I think it's my phone. I think the 8th for another EKG up here and check up. They do EKG and pull blood work and look at some stuff in my heart. And but I'm just gonna be back and forth to visit her and then take care of stuff down there. And I'll come up here and grab stuff. So I don't want to load up and take a ton of stuff with me everywhere I go. So I'll take a couple, 3 things, finish them, come back, see her, and take a couple, 3 things, go, you know. So but she's doing really good. She's getting chilled out. She understands who her humans are. She just wants a nap really bad right now. And she's bonded really well. She adores Dave. He said that she sleeps in his lap from the time he gets home till he goes to bed. And if I'm here, she's glued to me. So she's bonded really great. Super great. It's been stormy here, but then today's beautiful. It stormed yesterday, not bad, just normal rumblies. Today's been nice. Now, the rain that we had a few days ago like to drown me. The raindrops were so big they hurt. It felt like hailstones hitting you. You're going to fall off my leg. Go on. You're about to sleep. Go sit down. Lula came with her name, or Luna came with her name. David calls her Lula. Her name's Luna May. That's the name she came with. And David he just talks to her like a baby and calls her Luna May. And hey, stop wondering and sit down. You're gonna fall over asleep. She's like, I can't go to sleep. You're here to visit. I can't go to sleep. She's just gonna pace until I get done. Yeah, she came with the name, so we didn't want to change it because she is 3.5 going on 4, so we didn't want to change her name because she's used to it. So we kept her name. She's doing really good though, but I am going to get a wireless dog fence that can go with me, so when she's able to go with me both places, she'll have a perimeter that she can't cross. And everything down there is neutered or spayed, so I don't, I've just got to watch her. No, ma'am. The taxidermy. She's still in love with taxidermy. She's like, ooh, is that thing alive? Yeah, it's dead. It's just like the other one. It's dead. She's not noticed Anshul yet. You want to climb the step ladder to look at it? Or you want back in my lap? Oh my goodness, you're a needy, needy little child. Oh, you're a needy, needy little child. I've got to weed the beans. We got to go outside and weed the beans and cucumbers. She's not noticed Anshul yet up here. Look up here. There's another one up there. She's like all these things in this house. The first day I think they overwhelmed her, and now she's like, oh, okay, there's another one up there. You want your belly scratched? Okay, I'll scratch your belly. Get your belly scratched. Scritchy, 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 scritchy. You like it? You like your belly scritchy, scritchy, scritchy? Yeah. Say, I hit the lottery. I'm happy. I'm happy. I hit the lottery. I'm happy, happy, happy. Happy, happy, happy. You're happy, aren't you? You're a happy girl. I'm happy. I'm a happy girl. Show them how cute you are. So I can't wait till her new collar gets here. I thought it might be in the mail today, but I don't think the post is run yet. We had a death in my queen family. The queenies that all went to the North American Queen Conventions. The guy that created the North American Queen Conventions, Paul De Ferrari. I mean, just wonderful. I don't think I've ever met somebody so joyous in life as him. He passed away kind of unexpectedly. He had been having some health stuff, but nothing we all thought or had been told was severe, and he passed away. So they had his funeral in Atlanta, outside of Atlanta yesterday, but luckily they did the live stream because he's got friends all over the world. So I messaged Phoebe to make sure he knew what time it was going to be. I call him Phoebe, but it's Peter Freestone. I messaged Phoebe to tell him what time it was going to be to make sure he was aware. And he is actually looking into coming back to the States in December, but it's going to be in lower Alabama, like 8 or 9 hours from me. And the lady that's hosting me at Pandora, she's like, you can totally stay with me. We've known each other for several years. But I'm like, I don't know if I can travel that far. And he really wants to see me. Of course, he's coming from, across the world. He's coming from Prague. But it's like, dude, that's a hard trip for me. So I don't know. But he may not come back to the States for many years. So I'd like to try to go see him. But I don't know logically if I can make another trip like that. The first one about licked me. I don't. Of course, we did that one super fast, and this one will be over a few days. But I just don't know if my health is ready for another one. I just don't. What are you doing? Crochet and knitting channel. Hey, there you go. That's what we needed. I'm working on a possum right now, but my dog won't leave me alone. She's staying right here at my feet and my legs. Um, Phoebe is Peter Freestone. He was Freddie's personal assistant the last 12 years of his life and took care of him until he passed. He was with him when he passed. Wonderful soul, lovely man. We befriended each other in 2015 and 2016. Became fast friends, and we keep up with each other. We chit chat. We check on each other. We do Facebook Messenger calls, and because he's in Prague most of the time, and we keep up with each other. He's been super busy. He took a few years off for some surgeries and medical stuff, and now he's back to he helps with the AIDS Titanic program, going around to poor countries and dispensing knowledge and some health items to help promote self-care. And he does a lot of education programs with the underprivileged or impoverished communities. So he's a super sweet man. He does his cookbooks are awesome. If you live in the States, you have to convert them from the metric to our normal stuff, but it's not that hard. And but I've got his cookbooks. He signed the majority of them for me. But we would always ham it up at the conventions, and we got to where we wouldn't tell everybody else, but we get up early and go eat a pancake breakfast before everybody else got up on Saturdays. And but we would keep in touch all year long, and we voice call and messenger chat. He's also on Instagram. If you go to I think it's Peter Richard Leslie Freestone Official, or I think it's Peter Freestone Official, but that's his whole name. He's one of those big name people. I'm not. Good. Sit down. I think she's gonna chill out. Super great guy though. I probably heard a lot of stories about Freddie that a lot of people don't know, and I don't feel at liberty to tell. But it's been fun to get to see Freddie through just a friend's eyes, because I grew up in Appalachia and kind of looked at this man with this great imagination and skill and talent, and you don't think you're ever gonna know these people. They might as well be figments of your imagination. And when I was front row at the Queen and Adam Lambert in 2018, I think 2017 or 18 at Bridgestone in Nashville, Brian May was like 6-7 foot from me doing a guitar solo, and Adam Lambert actually got in between us, and I was trying to move him like this because I didn't care about Adam Lambert. I wanted to look at Brian May because I have Brian on my arm. I wanted to look at Brian May. The man's an astrophysicist. I mean, what's not to like about him? He can be a little harsh in his old age. He's gotten a little snooty in his old age. He's got a little high and mighty. But the man is just so smart. And I could sit down and probably talk to him for 5 days and never lose interest. But that was a huge event for me. I was front row at Bridgestone. I went with Karen. She didn't want to go alone. And we stayed at the Omni. And that was like a huge event for me. That was like a life event. She's moving the curtains with her nose so she could see out the door. She normally knocks them down. She'd be better. Scooter. We went out and played and you got the sneezes. You went out and played and you got the sneezes. The sneezes. So when they were working on Bohemian Rhapsody, I will send like funnies of what happened in Appalachia today to Phoebe and just record myself and just send him little voice messages. And he got, because he was a consult on the movie. You're not getting on the table. He was a consult on the movie, and he would play my stories for the guys. And he said it was so funny to have them come up and be like, "Have you got another funny from that little girl?" And I was like, "Little girl, I'm older than them." And he thought that was funny. And but he said they enjoyed your stories. He said they looked forward to it each day to see if you'd send me something. And I was like, I didn't know everybody was listening to me. And he said, "Oh, they loved it." He's been on to me to write a book too, but I sit down to type and it doesn't flow as freely out of me. So I would need to sit down and just dictate and then go back and transcribe. And the thoughts of that after working in transcription a large chunk of my life does not appeal to me at all. But if I sit down to type, I go into professional mode where I edit myself, and it's just not me. It doesn't sound like me. Margaret's in here. But yeah, Phoebe has become a really great close friend. He sent Haley congratulations when she got out of college. He wrote my first grandbaby a letter, and I've got it. I've got copies made, and I've got the original saved for her. He's just kind of one of the family now, and he's such a sweetheart. He's such a sweet man. We stay in touch, and like we went a little while. He had some medical stuff and had surgery, and we went a few months where we were just barely touching base over the winter. And he was like, I'm so sorry. He's like, I've been so busy and all this medical stuff and all these appointments. He's like, and I'll sit down in a minute. And he's like, I swear I'll tell you what's been going on. And I was like, you don't have to tell me what's been going on if you don't want to. You don't have to tell me everything. I'm just like, I'm just glad you're okay and glad to hear from you. And he's like, that's why I like you. He's like, you just don't pry about everything. And I'm like, no, I don't want to be pried upon. I mean, I don't want anybody to know everything about me. I don't want to know everything about you. But he says that I treat him like a person. Everybody else treats him like they're talking to Freddie through him. And but I don't know. He's genuinely, I think, probably one of the reasons Freddie had a good home life and an anchor to where he could be himself and establish a home base, be safe at home. And he cooked for him, took care of the home, and made sure that the security was great. So, and he just, like, he's so calming. Like, you go into a room with him, he's just so calming. And so I understand why Freddie needed his influence. He's a very calm, sweet guy. They were really great friends. And he was happy. It was like the last several years of his life, he was terribly happy. And he said it's sad because when he was at his sickest is probably when he was at his happiest. And he said it's sad that those things couldn't have timed better. But, play with fire, you get burned. And that's probably one of the reasons I was such a little nun in life. Because I knew all about Freddie Mercury and what it could lead to. So I was such a little nun. Of course, I'm fertile myrtle too, so it's probably a good thing I was such a nun. Oh, Lord. Luna May, what you doing? What you got? Come here. No, ma'am, you can't have that. No, you can't have that. No. No. You have your sloth to play with and your puzzle box. You want me to load your puzzle box? She learned a puzzle box in about 3 minutes, y'all. 3 minutes and she had a puzzle box worked. And I thought, so she does see it. She does the thing when I tell her to see it, she'll see it. She's learning. Come here. Can you sit? Sit down. Good girl. Want a treat? You need to go to sleep. You're going to get yourself in trouble trying to keep yourself awake. You're going to get yourself in trouble trying to keep yourself awake. So that's when I get into stuff when I shouldn't. When I should be sleeping and I'm trying to stay awake, that's when I get in trouble. It is, isn't it? Yes, it is. It's when you get in trouble. Snorty McSnorterson. See, I'm a stinker. She's going to have to take a nap or she's going to fall out. I'm going to find her in the middle of the floor somewhere just sprawled. She'll just walk until she falls. But she's doing great. She's learning. She's only been here a week. It honestly feels like she's been in this house for a long, long time. She's acclimating well. She's got some fears from her puppy mill days where she was breathing so much that we're overcoming. But, I mean, really nothing that, we can't overcome. So she's doing really well. She's doing really well. Yeah, Queen. I listened to Queen probably the time that I was 12. I wasn't allowed to have a lot of music and stuff when I was young, and so one of my friends' parents was throwing a bunch of stuff away, and she found a Walkman and a bunch of cassette tapes, and she knew that I didn't. Nene, no ma'am, bad dog, leave it. That's right. I said all my phrases. Thank you for coming back. Come here. Thank you. Good girl. So when you correct her, she's like, oh, okay, cool. But her parents were tossing some stuff out, and then the cassettes were so old that they had none of the printed writing on them anymore. But she brought the Walkman and the cassettes to me. And when I turned them on, actually what I had was A Night at the Opera and A Day at the Races, but I didn't know that. I was just listening to awesome music that was just, Shakespeare was quoted in there, and I mean, just fantastical, magical lands were spoken about. Still to this day, one of my favorite songs is Fairyfeller's Masterstroke, and of course that alludes back to Shakespeare. And so I love this music. I didn't know who it was, but when the internet came to my high school, I was like pushing 14, I guess. I went to the library and I was so excited to get library time because the internet had just been turned on at high school. And I was typing in these lyrics to see what popped up, and then I found out, oh, it's this band called Queen. And so I found the fan club. They had a fan club. And then I went to the fan club site, and it was January 92, and I found out that he had passed away in late November of 91. And my little heart just melted. I was like, oh, I finally figured out who I've been listening to, and now he's gone. I'm like, man, because you want to thank somebody or follow them for the rest of your life, if they have a big influence on you. And it didn't stop me enjoying Queen. I saved up from all my barn jobs, horse jobs, cattle jobs, livestock income, and I bought every cassette. I had a whole collection. Bought some of them a few times, and I wrote a English paper on "Is This the World We Created?" and compared it to "The Lady of Shalott" by Alfred Lord Tennyson, and touched on feeling imprisoned and freedom, inevitably being what people die for one way or another. And my English teacher was just absolutely, she was like, how did you come up with this? And she was like, who told you about this music? And I was like, I've been listening to it for a few years. And she was like, yeah, this was great. And so now for Lord Tennyson is probably one of my favorite people to read. So I would, I've kind of weave it into anything I could expand upon thought, my thought process. I would do it. And so I love Queen. I love Queen. I love their songs. There's a couple of songs I don't really care for. When he got into when he got to the club scene in New York, it was kind of like, I could do without some of that, And according to Phoebe, that was not a good time in his world. He said he was not happy during that time. You could tell. I could tell it in the music because I wasn't as interested in the music. It wasn't music that was from his heart and his mind. It was just he was just making music to make music at that point. And then when he got back into making good music again, I was like, okay, yeah, now we're here. And one of my favorite later songs is "Was It All Worth It?" And he left little. No, ma'am. He left little breadcrumbs through his music about his illness and hinting around that he was, he'd made peace with what was going on. And if you look back at it now, you can understand that. Yeah, Body Language, and that whole album was kind of. I don't. Was it the back chat or the live? One with the four hot space. Hey, that one. And if you go to a Queen convention, they skim over those years because they know it's not his finest work. So she's just looking at me like, put me in my kennel. I need a nap, and I'm not going to stop walking. Let me go kennel her real quick. Hang on just a second. You need a nap. You need a nap. Come here. Come here. Come here. You need a nap. Come here. Okay, hoist you up. Oh, you're fat, child. You're fat. Take a nap. Take a nappy. Okay. Put her in her kennel. She needs a nap in the worst way possible. But yeah, Body Language, Hot Space, They do kind of skim over that because we all knew it wasn't his finest hour. But when he got back into right about the time when he started doing the I Want It All, he got reinvigorated because he was getting very ill. He got reinvigorated, and he made some awesome songs during that time in life. And the reason that he did a video to I'm Going Slightly Mad, because the last video he had done was the one where they look like balloon people, cartoon balloon people. And he did not want to be remembered as a cartoon balloon person. And so he did I'm Going Slightly Mad. Of course, the makeup helped during that one, and you couldn't really see exactly how pitiful he was. Like, he was missing a chunk of his foot at that time that had to be cut away because one of those spots was in it. And you can tell in some of the places where he's walking, you can tell he's got a pretty pronounced limp. But he didn't want to be remembered as a balloon caricature. And so he did I'm Going Slightly Mad. He got his confidence up because the makeup helped. But then he decided, no, I'm just going to say goodbye. And he did These Are the Days of Our Lives. And that was kind of his goodbye to his fan base so that they would remember him. And, you know, it's a hard song to listen to when you know and have heard all the stories behind it and what he went through and why he decided to make those videos and stuff. But he knew that the life he had was created because of his fans, and he was very, very, very indebted to his fans. He knew that they were the people that had helped him have a good life, because he was in a boarding school. His dad was like a British, like a government worker, basically. They had servants and stuff when he grew up, but it was during the time where if you had wealth through any kind of means, you sent your kid to boarding school. So he went to boarding school in Zanzibar. And was it Tanzania? It was Zanzibar. And he lived where he was born in Zanzibar for a number of years. Then he went to boarding school, which was a little bit farther away. He found his love for music at boarding school, but he was always doing these fantastical stories. According to his sister Cash, he was always doing these fantastical stories. And what is it? When he talks about some of the places in his mind, those were places that he had created in their childhood when they played, that he would tell her stories about. So it's nice to see that, you know, he had a big imagination his entire life. But he found his love for music at the boarding school, and he boxed. He was a good boxer, which came out of nowhere, but he was a good boxer. And but then his dad, there was you know, the government broke down over there. There was kind of a little revolt in the society, and they all had to move back to the mainland. So they moved back to one of the lower sides of London. And it was kind of a culture shock because he had grown up very secluded, isolated with servants, and now they were back on the mainland and they were just living like everyone else. But he's very smart, but he went for fashion and graphic design and stuff like that, basically art in college, but he just could not dedicate himself. Like, he just, studying was just, his head was elsewhere. And so he got in the music scene completely almost by accident. He was just enjoyed it, and lo and behold, they needed a singer, and he jumped in, and so it was kind of all by accident, which is hilarious. But he did have 4 extra top teeth in his mouth, which he never corrected because he thought that was what made him sound so different. So he never looked at getting his teeth corrected. He loved his teeth, even though they were, you know, a lot of people's punching bag on him. He loved his teeth because he thought that's what made his voice echo so fully. And you're gonna have to cry. You're gonna take a nap. You are walking zombie. So it's nice to, you know all of this and hear the stories from Phoebe about some of the other stuff going on. And the one person I have not met is Mary Austin, and to be quite honest, I don't particularly care for her. I believe she played a very important role in his life, But as far as her behavior to others and stuff, some of the insider stuff that I know, I just never have particularly cared for Mary. And I mean, I'd be polite to her if I met her, but I just don't, I don't particularly care for her. I think I made your head too big. I think I made my possum's head too big. We'll see. I may have to take out a couple rows. But somebody asked me if they ever, Garden Lodge, he had a trust done so that Mary would be taken care of the majority of her life, which it was just sold, I believe, last year or the year before. So all of his stuff was liquidated through, I think it's the Summersby auction house, and it was really hard for Phoebe to see all that occur because that was his home as well for a long time, and so all that happened last year, or the year before, I can't remember. The trust was dissolved and everything was sold. But somebody said if they ever opened up Garden Lodge for tours, would you go? Honestly, no. I would stand outside Garden Lodge at the green door and be like, woohoo, I'm standing somewhere that Freddie Mercury, passed and walked, and the things he saw his last days in life, I'm around them. And I would get, I'd be like, wow. But I don't think I might be able to go in the yard, but I don't think I'd be able to go into the home because he was very private about his home life. He isolated himself and only allowed, like, the people that he really trusted in his home. And that was he kind of referred to it as his sanctuary. And knowing how house proud he was, number one, I don't think I could walk through the house without taking my shoes off. But number two, knowing how private he was and knowing that he didn't like mixing private life and his persona, I would have a very hard time walking in that home knowing that it would not be his wishes, to have people in his home. So I don't think I could. But a lot of people really want them to turn it into something that people can visit. I am not one of those people. I think I made his head too big. I'm going to make it smaller. I didn't like that. We're going to make it smaller. But yeah, this is my third possum. I got to put his eyes in. I'm getting better at the feet. The feet are, they're confusing at first, but I'm getting better at them. This is my third possum. So one, I think, is going to go to California, and then I've got two. I may list one of them on Dave's Etsy so he can get paid back for my yarn. I buy a lot of yarn. Oh yeah, I think the best documentary I ever saw was one that Axl Rose did. The most comprehensive. But to sit for hours with Peter Freestone and hear about dinner parties and Christmases and pretty private stories that he is just now sharing because he knows that in order to keep Freddie's music and Freddie's image alive, basically, he shares these so that the new generation of fans can also feel close to Freddie. And so I hear a lot of stories that he also does not share publicly, but he is a huge wealth of knowledge and very fun to listen to. And we don't always talk about Freddie. 9 times out of 10 when I'm talking to Phoebe, we're talking about us. What's going on in your world? What's going on in mine? He had a cat named Snowball for a number of years. I've sent him quilts. We're just friends. And so 9 times out of 10 we don't talk about Freddie unless we're at a function where he's talking about Freddie. But even then, we'll find time to skirt and go to eat a pancake breakfast together alone without people bugging us, and we'll try to find time to have a few minutes to chit chat. But we do keep up with each other. He's literally one of the sweetest men I've ever met. He's giant. He's like 6'3", 6'4". He's giant. Like when he hugs you, you completely disappear. But he's a sweet man. Oh, I made a tiny one. Margaret, let me show you the tiny one I made. I hung it on my fridge when I got home. I put it on a hook. I'll just hook it off. Oh, I got it. I wanted to know how small the pattern would be in worsted weight, 4-weight, because I'm using blanket yarn. This is how tiny the pattern is in worsted weight. But I made this head a different shape, so I could hook it where he's hanging. So I've got this hook on my fridge, and when I got home, I hooked him on the fridge, and he hangs like that. I've got to put his eyes on. That's how tiny it is in 4-weight yarn. This is it in blanket yarn. Same pattern. I just made his head a different shape so I could put it on upside down. Isn't that funny? That just cracks me up every time. Every time I do something with blanket yarn, I'm like, I want to do it 4 worsted weight, and then I'm like, oh, that's funny. Yeah, I did this the other day. It takes it takes probably longer actually because it's a thin. But yeah, so this would take me about 3.5 hours. This would take me about almost 4, because you have to be a little bit more careful with the stitches. But it is cute, and I thought about you could also make the tail separate, so it could come back and it could toggle onto itself. So like people could put it like up here, break it into 2 with a toggle, like a leaf at the end or a button at the end, so people could put it on the rear views and stuff. But you could still go between the stitches, hang it up too. That's what I did. I put it on the fridge when I got here. I thought it was cute. But this is the same pattern in 4-weight. So I was like, well, how small would it be? This is how small it would be. Would you want one? I can make you one. He is very cute. I probably need to make his nose smaller next time, but I just thought he was cute. I had to put his eyes on. I embroider eyes on everything now, though. It just is safer for everybody, and it lasts longer, so I just embroider eyes. He needs a little mouth and little eyes. That's what I haven't done yet. I love the feet, though. The feet are so cute. The feet are what got me to do the entire pattern. And this isn't all from Jade. I think it's all from or all about Jade. This is the Jade lady. And this is one of her patterns. And she's really good at patterns. But the feet took me a hot minute because I had a dur moment. I had a few. And now, since I've got them down pat, they're super easy. But the first couple of times was really, and in this yarn, it was very difficult. But I'm sure I could do a better job next time. But isn't he cute? He's cute. And he would go in a small bubble mailer, Margaret, so he wouldn't be super expensive to mail. Because you could just mash him and he's gonna bounce right back. So I wouldn't have to worry about him going through the mail. I know, isn't he cute? If y'all like these, I can make a few and tell David to put them on his page, on his store page. They'd probably be around $15 just for the time that I put in them, because they're about 4 hours of work. But I'm sitting and crocheting most of the time now, watching a blind diabetic chihuahua. But these are so cute. But I could make a few and tell David to put them on his page. I could go and do a protected purchase. The only bad thing is Etsy calculates the shipping, but I do it by weight. So we weigh one that's packaged, and that's how much they weigh to ship. And that's what Etsy charges. We normally lose $1 or $2 on shipping, but that's just part of it. And I don't, David's not worried about that. But I think they're cute. Now, they will have eyes, and if you want a little mouth, I can put a little mouth on them too. But I like the hanging upside down ones. But I think if you wanted on a rear view, I could split right here and do 2 chains. And then at the end, do either a bobble stitch or a popcorn stitch, so you could have a toggle at the end, so you could hang it from your rear view. So if you wanted to hang it from your rear view, I could make that. Or you could just put, a yarn or string through it and tie it as well. But even after I make them, I could just hook in and do 2 different chains and a toggle. I think a popcorn stitch would probably make a good toggle lock on it. They're cute though. Well, hello. You just missed Luna in the chat. Luna she was walking zombie. She would not be still. She was like, no, I'm not going to take a nap until you get in here. And I had to put her in a kennel so she'd finally take a nap. She's just walking like a zombie. If you see Blake in the chat, y'all, that is the person that rescued Luna originally. But these are cute. You're local, so you could just get one. But these are cute. But this is it in blanket yarn. This is it in blanket. This is it in 4-ways. Same pattern. I just turned it upside down and made the head a little different so I could sew it on. So I like to make stuff in 4-weight, but people like to buy the Lubbies in the big blanket. I don't like working with blanket yarn because it hurts my wrist. I like the 4-weight, but then it takes you literally days to make something giant in 4-weight. And when I make the big feet out of Chanel, and I've got another big foot made. I've got one with long arms and short legs. I named him Harlan. It takes you a couple 3 days to make the same size in worsted weight. And so when I make those big feet, they're like a 5-weight, and it takes me a while to make those. It takes me like 7 or 8 hours to make those. And so that's kind of what the price reflects, the quality of the yarn and how much time it takes me to do it. It takes me a lot of time. Oh, she's doing great. She's gained 1.5 pounds. She's gained 1.5 pounds, probably a little bit more, but 1.5 pounds solid. And she's not having any problems. She's not. She gets, if we have to kill her and I have to be gone for like a chunk of the morning or something, you can tell she gets a little antsy. But if I'm just like run to town, run back, or run down the hill, run back, she's fine. David works super close, so if I have to be gone with mom or something, he can run home at lunch, take her out and check on her, run back to work. He's super close to work. And so she's doing great. She lives in the recliner. That's where she sleeps most of the time. But since I'm in here at the kitchen table, she's like, she would not take a nap. She's like, nope, not until you get over here. I'm not going to sleep. So I had to put her in her kennel so she would stop, because she was just walking zombie through the house, just like, come on, lady, I want a nap. But she was on it the first. I had her on it first. She's about to fall asleep in my arms. Oh, what? Wilhelmina wants to play dates. Margaret. Oh, Lord. Yeah, when I went there to pick her up, she literally just hit the ground running and was straight in my arms. And she was just like, heck yeah, I like this lady. So she's done great, and she loves Dave. I was more worried about Dave because his stature. Sometimes dogs think, they get defensive because he's so big and round. Oh no, she loves him. She's all about Dave. As soon as she heard him pull up today, she was like, oh, I'm gonna go outside. She's all about Dave. And he said when he's here in the evenings, she literally sleeps in his lap until he goes to bed. And I think probably in a few more weeks she'll probably end up in the bed too. Right now she's still kind of getting secure in the home, and she does better in her safe spot at night in her kennel. But probably in a few more weeks she'll end up in the bed. I guarantee it. You just wait. I'll be on here going, yeah, well, Luna has now got half of a king size bed. That's probably what's fixing to happen. Most likely, I'd say so. She's already rotten. I'm waiting for her collar to come in. That's why I came up the hill and I thought, I'm going to check the mail. Maybe her collar came in. I don't think that the post is delivered yet today, so I'm hanging out, crocheting, waiting to see if her collar came in. But yeah, she's a sweetheart. We love her to death. We love her to death. The only thing I found that she really hates is a hairdryer. You have to towel dry her. That's it. She doesn't mind a bath, but she don't want to be dried. She's not a hairdryer. You can towel dry her, but she don't want to be. She don't have nothing to do with a hairdryer. So I just towel dry her. I just put Oscar's little robe on her and just dry her. If you I'll have to put it on the scale, but when you put them in when you bubble wrap them and put them in a little bubble mailer, I don't think it costs more than about $6 because it has to go priority. That's the only sad thing. It has to go priority for shipping. It shouldn't go over that. That should be the max if I get really hefty with the bubble wrap and tape. She heard David shut the door. She's barking. Roo, 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 roo. So I can make a few, and if y'all want them, you can let me know. But For the time I put in them, $15 is not a lot because they take just as long as this big one over here, probably longer. But I enjoy making them. I spend a lot of time babysitting mom's chihuahua or sitting in doctor's offices, so might as well have something to do. No, actually, I've been so busy I have not watched any local news. I know that's sad. Oh, the dog. What was it? She was right around the 10, 11 pound mark, but I'd say she's gained at least a pound and a half. So I put her on a combination of a kibble mixed with some high protein pedigree senior packs, got a little bit extra protein in them, and it helps it stick a little better in her tummy, but it's putting weight on her really quick. So she gets to eat quite a bit of food right now. I'm doing it pretty slow, as the vet told me to, but she gets to eat quite a bit of food right now, and she's doing really well with it. She don't have any problems. But we also got her vitamin, in the shapes of stars, little vitamin mineral treats to give her, and her hair is just shining. I got her allergy stuff ordered. I got that ordered because I found it at a better price online. She takes an allergy chew. The only thing that really has upset her stomach was the flea pill, and the vet was like it'll get better as her tummy gets used to it. But she's really not had any problems. I'll have to go check the wreck out that happened over there. I've just been so busy. I've not watched any local news. I know it sounds horrible. I've just been busy. I've got to get caught up on a whole bunch of stuff. But yeah, she was probably around the 10 pound mark, and I forget exactly how much it was. It was like between 10 or 11. Because when we got the flea pill, it had to be for like a 10 to 15 pound dog because she was right over, barely, but right over. And I'd say she's gained at least a pound and a half by now. She's getting a belly on her. I said, honey, there ain't nothing skinny in this house. You're going to have to eat. That's what I told her. I'd say when she gets old and packs on some weight and hits the middle-age spread here in a little bit, she'll probably end up being a 15-pound dog. And then I've noticed that too. There's just a bunch of weird behavior in the world. But now listen, like we talked about that isolation, the psychology behind isolation, and how it's creating issues in society, and especially in youth who are now showing, a lack of cognitive retention and basically frontal lobe capacity, like a dementia-addled 60, 70-year-old. We're seeing problems that normally hit geriatrics in younger people, and so we're seeing society shift because of it, because of these newfound problems. And the way that the isolation from the pandemic affected people, especially in the frontal lobe capacity with socialization and just community thinking, the world's fixing to get really weird really fast. It's going to go downhill really quick. So it's going to take a lot of people saying, hey, it's not normal, and, being very loud and voicing a better way to be, because otherwise, sadly, those age ranges just kind of, they're the squeakiest wheel, so they normally get the most grease. And we're going to have to make sure they don't in the next few years. We're going to have to make sure they don't go blindly forward with the rest of society. We're going to have to say, wait, back her up, do that better. Yeah, it's gonna get weirder before it gets better. It basically turned everybody into a neurotic, just a neurotic, just paranoid hate monger. And I used to say we're home weaving our hate webs. Will we take them back out to society? We did. People did. Took them back out to society so they don't go anywhere without this thing they've been working on for a few years now about why they hate everybody. because that's all they've thought about when they're home. Hate this person for not obeying that law, for not wearing a mask, for not doing this, for, you know. And it's not what was I capable to do, did I do everything I could do. It was what everybody else should have done. And that's completely the wrong way to look at things, because the only person you can control is you, you know. But they shifted everything with this, and so people just sat at home and wove this huge hate web, and then they took it back out to society. And instead of going, I'm so glad to be in society, I'm so glad to be able to see you and meet people, talk to people, and physically interact with people, they went, should I be around you? Why do you deserve to be around me? They just went out with a complete wrong mentality. And so we don't have any kind of communal happiness anymore. We're all bristling at each other. We're all concerned with each other. And y'all, let me tell you what, there's been much scarier things in the world to catch. If you want to really be scared about something, look into brucellosis that comes from hogs. That thing's just been riding under the skin right there, just waiting to be a huge issue, but it's not yet. Okay, zoonotic diseases don't happen often, and if they do happen, normally it's because of scientists. Just, you know, look at the percentages across the board. But brucellosis is one of those things they have been looking at for a number of years, thinking, oh dear, because it does transmit. It can cause problems. It is very, very, very nasty. And I was very aware of that because we hunted hogs, ate wild hog, taxidermy. My hands was all over everything, okay? But I also knew the percentage of how rare it was to get it and the percentage of the hogs that had it to the level where it was going to be catching. So I knew it was very small chance. But it's more prevalent. It has a much higher possibility of going rogue than most other things they're worried about. And so I sit here and go, well, why are you worried about that? Why are you worried about this? Because I grew up on farms. And I'm like, you're worried about all the wrong things. Why are you worried about all the wrong things? Because it's what they're dabbling in. It's not what actually could occur. It's what they're dabbling in. Because if they were looking at what could naturally occur, they'd be looking at things that I looked at when we were raising all this livestock to eat. But they're not. They're looking at stuff they're interested in as a bioweapon. That's my opinion. And, you know, play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. We won a big one about 5 years ago. And, you know, everybody was worried, and I was like, don't freak out. Okay, it's going to be harshest where they let it out of the bag. We could all see that. But Mother Nature and viruses, they want taxi cabs, not coffins. So it's going to mutate to become less violent. Because they don't want to kill the host, because then they die too. So you have to let Mother Nature do its thing. And Mother Nature did self-correct. It took a while, and a lot of good people died, but she self-corrected. But a lot of people were so terrified. And the terror created more of an issue than, you know, really the virus did. The terror probably got more people injured in the long run. I mean, we've got entire generations that are not right because of the terror. You know, and I worked in vet's offices my whole life, and coronaviruses have been prevalent in dogs, canines. You know, there are 20-something different types of coronaviruses for dogs. When your dog has a cold, it's got a coronavirus. So it wasn't a foreign thing to me. So I didn't like freak out. You know, the first 2 weeks they said, you know, give us a couple weeks, everybody chill out. Let's try not to spread it. Let's see what's going on. Okay, a couple weeks. After the 30-day mark, I was going, no, something's not right. We're not seeing numbers change the way numbers should change if we isolate a herd. So what's going on? And that was when I was like, I'm done. Something's not right. Somebody tell me the truth. But we don't have enough people that are just logical, rational, understanding people. Not a lot of people work around animals. They don't understand how viruses work. They don't understand basic medical terminology. It's the same way that they have turned the word spontaneous miscarriage. They now call it an abortion. It's not an abortion. It's spontaneous miscarriage. In no way was that baby not wanted or put up to be destroyed. The body could not maintain the pregnancy and therefore ejected the pregnancy. It's a spontaneous miscarriage. But now they write down for billing purposes abortion. All these women that don't understand the terminology, they think they had an abortion. I had a friend that thought like that because it was written on her hospital paperwork. Her insurance was billed, and I had to explain to her, no, they just call it that for billing purposes because they get more money. That was not what occurred to you. You know, and so like I said, you change the meaning of the words, you change the vernacular, You can basically, you change the vocabulary, you change the law. If you change the meaning of words, you change the entire society. And so when people get upset about new words or slang, or it's not that they don't keep up with the times, it's that they understand how it will augment everyday life, and how it can truly unravel a society. And it's really scary how quick it can be done. And a lot of people don't look at things like that because they want to be up on things. They want to be with pop culture. I get that. I get that. You want to be cool. But above being cool, I like to be calm and collected and understand that I also have to be here and look at millions of other people that also have to live in this world. And perhaps we need to pump the brakes a little bit, and we all need to get on the same page for 5 seconds. And that's just kind of where I'm at. I don't show hate to anyone. I never have. But, I like one of my friends that I love dearly could not compost what was going on, and she would get so upset about the news and she'd call and scream at me. And I was like, I'm not okay with this. You don't need to do that. I said, you understand that you're getting upset and then you're calling and you're screaming at me like I'm the person that caused it. And I don't enjoy these conversations, and therefore I don't enjoy the time I'm spending with you, and I'm fixing to stop this. And she didn't think I would. And so she kept doing it. And she got mad at me because I went to Walmart. I went to Walmart like once a month. She got mad because I didn't wear a mask. Well, I've got an injured left lung from a prison riot where I had chemical pneumonia after sucking in 3 cans of OC pepper spray. Because the stupid males had to empty their whole cans. Idiots. They were all big enough they could have just sat on the man. But no, they emptied all their cans. Stupid men. We were stuck in lockdown for 25 minutes in hell in that. Like 5 of us had to be hospitalized. It messed up my left lung. If I put on a mask, I drag my left lung and it will inflame and it will hurt me. It will end up 9 times out of 10 getting an infection. It gets mad. So I was like, screw it. I know if I put on a mask, I'm going to get me sick, but I have like a 99.9% chance of being okay. I'm just going to go to Walmart and get home. And she was like, you're a murderer. I said, no, ma'am, I'm not. I've supervised murderers. I know exactly what murderers are, and I'm not a murderer. For you to take that kind of reach, because I didn't put a piece of gauze over my nose, which is going to do absolutely nothing. I said, I just don't think this is a friendship I can continue. And she just went wonky. I just don't know. And she was like, well, I'm just so consumed with what will stop. You live in a gated community. You're in a $2 million home. You're worth double-digit millions. Sit down in your gated community with your HOA, who's not going to let nobody in the community, and feel more secure than 90% of America because you got money. You're good. Just deal with something as it comes to your door, because that's all you can do anyway. Cat's out of the bag. We're going to have to let this run its course. We're all in the same basket together, But she was just so hostile because she was so upset. And I was like, I don't understand why you're upset at people when no one can do anything about this. We're just going to have to live through it. But she got really hostile, and I had to say, I'm sorry, I can't continue this friendship with that behavior. And she got really mad at me, but I've not spoke with her since. And she thought I didn't like Bill Gates because I had a thing against rich people. I said, have I ever treated you any differently than I treat anybody else? Well, no. I said, okay. I said, so your foundation is wrong. There's no reason to think that. I said, I don't like Bill Gates because he's evil. I said, he's done things all across the world where countries have said, don't come back. I said, the man is not a philanthropist. I said, he is a philanderer. It's 2 very separate things. And, but she got very emotional, and I said, you shouldn't. I said, you should tone it down and try to sit logically. Because they want you emotional, because then they can take you an emotional hostage and make you think, feel, believe, and completely put you in a tizzy. And I said, but I know what's going to happen because I've grown up in farms and I've watched whole herds get sick. I know what's going to happen. So I'm not sitting here terrified. We just going to have to ride through it. I just couldn't take it. I couldn't take it. Oh, I thought it was so funny. She actually flew me out to visit her once, and I had never been in Texas, and I realized immediately as soon as I got off the plane, she picked me up, at the airport. As soon as we got right out of the airport, I could see. I said, well, no wonder they shot JFK here. I said, give me a good scope. And I said, you can pick anybody off. There's nothing to hide behind. It's just flat, wide open. If you got a good scope, you can do some damage. It made perfect sense to me. And she goes, we don't have to talk about that here. I said, well, y'all need to talk about it. I said, make it, not happen again. I said, y'all need to understand, y'all got some issues here. You can't hide anybody here. Out in the open, sore thumb, right there. And I said, but I can see why I said, there's nowhere to hide. You go in a parking lot and it's just acres and acres and acres. And when you stand up, you're the tallest thing for, a mile either way. It was unnerving. You couldn't hide. It was unnerving. It bothered me. I was like, I'm sorry. I feel like I'm just sticking out like sore thumb and everybody picked me off. It was annoying. David is weed eating. He's making my security camera go on and off, on and off, on and off, on and off. I'm getting fees going, humanoid figure, humanoid figure, humanoid figure. But I went to visit her. She had a media room. She had a theater room. And I loved her to death. I still think a lot of her. I'm not going to stand around somebody that when the crap hits the fan turns to me and then throws crap at me. I'm sorry, I thought we were on the same team. Let's throw crap that way. It's just, you don't. It's like, sorry, when I pick my team, I'm not picking people that turn around and go, now I hate you too. Sorry. Doesn't work for me. And she got really mad at me. But, I still think a lot of her, And I miss her. But it's just like, the last 6 months of our friendship was very tedious for me. Because she was always hyper paranoid and hyper frustrated. And when I tried to tell her, stop, this is what they want, you're going to have to calm down. And she had a very difficult time with it. I was like, I can't do this anymore. She would take it out on me, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I was like, I'm sorry. I was like, I've worked my whole life with people that don't know how to behave, but I'm not voluntarily going to be around one that doesn't, so I'm out. But I miss her. I miss the good times, and possibly when my pancreas got really bad, I was going to have to go stay a whole week and put like a pancreatic dialysis in Nashville. Basically, they put you on machines for your pancreas for like 7 days to 9 days because I couldn't afford the injections that they wanted me to take. And so I was packing to go to Nashville for a whole week to be put in this dialysis for your pancreas program. That's what I called it. And because I couldn't afford the Creon, if y'all know the price of Creon, I'm sure you can understand why. And these were injections, not pills. And so I was packing to go to Nashville for a week, and the pharmacy called and they said, you can come pick up the injections, or do you just want to drop them off at your doctor's office for the nurse? And I said, oh, I can't afford them. I didn't pay for them. I'll have to go to Nashville. He said, oh, no, they've been paid for. I said, well, he goes, oh, a lady from Texas called and paid for them. It irritated me, but she would not pay for them. And likely she probably saved my life, and I love her to death. I thought the world of her for that. But that was the moment our friendship changed, and she thought she could treat me any way she wanted to. She thought that I was beholden to her. And it changed. It changed. So I didn't think anything about money, but she most certainly did. And it bothered me. And from that moment on, it was like I was supposed to, squat, piss, and show my belly before I presented myself to her. And I was like, I'm sorry, I can't do this anymore. I'm sorry. Sally, you're always working. Well, I got a low battery notice, so I may blip out. But I just want to pop on and chit-chat, let Luna say hi, tell you what I'm working on while I'm waiting on the post to come up. I'll have this one finished. I will make a few of these. If you want one, email me, watersworkload@gmail.com. Or when this video loads, just leave a comment. Let me know you want one. I'll try to make the number needed so David can put up a multiple purchase ad. So there's like 3 or 4 in the backlog, so you just order. I'd say there'll probably be 15 plus shipping. And the shipping, once we weigh it, Etsy will calculate that when we put the poundage in, so it'll be up to Etsy. But that's a protected way for y'all to pay for it. And they'll go in a little bubble mailer, so it shouldn't be any more than $6. I hate Etsy and I hate shipping. Shipping is the bane of my existence. I hate it. That elk sold. We're fixing to ship it. It took us like $70 to get it to us from the guy we bartered for, and but we split. We were going to do like 2/3 of the shipping to the new owner. So that was a my sucker's heavy. It's beautiful though. It's gorgeous. I just enjoyed getting to see it while we had it. She'll call you when she's ready. I don't know. If somebody's doing it for you, you're on their timetable. That's sad. That is sad. I have a really good vet. I'm happy about that. Of course, she knows I've got so much knowledge. I kind of vet my own animals until I need her. Oh, they're cramping my foot. Oh, that hurt. I kind of vet my own animals till I need her. And half the time, if it's not something that legally she'll get in trouble for, she'll just hand me the medicine and syringes and go, one a day, do this, and I take care of everything myself. She's really good though. She's sweet. And then we have another guy down the hill that's creme de la creme of vet. Of course, my daughter in vet school, so I pick her brain a lot, but she's like, Mom, you know this, why are you asking me? So, but you know, lots changed since I was in vet school, so I'm like, Haley, is there anything new in this? You know, and she's like, no. But I kind of vet my own animals till I need her. But I took her up there, we got her flea killed, she weighed her, and agreed we're going to put a few pounds on her before we spay her and give her a booster shot, because she was like, I want her to be healthy. And she knows where I've got her. She's not going to come in contact with anything that's not boosted, healthy, and spayed and neutered, because everything on the farm is spayed and neutered. And everything here. And we're fenced here, and then down there, basically the only thing we're going to see is a road coyote, but she's not going to be outside long enough for her alone, because we don't want her to be packed off. So everywhere she is, I'm with her, so it's not going to be a big deal. Or Dave's with her. So we're just going to put a few pounds on her and let her get secure in her new home, and then we're going to get her fixed. So, but I hold her and assure her, no more babies for you. No more babies for you. But we're really smitten with her, and I've noticed that I have more energy to come and go now. It's not as much of a chore to come up and check on the house, because I know I'm spending time with Luna when I'm here. So, and David has enjoyed coming home and having company, because I'm not here half the time. So he's like, I come home and he's like, take her out to play. He's like, she sleeps in my lap till bedtime. But I guarantee in the next couple of weeks, she'll probably be in the bed. Just wait for it. Just wait for it. Just wait for it. I'll come back one day and I'll be like, well, I'm going to strip the bed and do some laundry while I'm here for him. And I'll see a dog bed on my side of the bed there. And she'll have taken over the extra half of that queen bed. And I'll be like, well, somebody needs to sleep in it, because I'm not. I don't mind, when she's got all her flea pills, I don't mind her. I do laundry often enough. It's not going to hurt anybody, but she'll be in the bed soon. As soon as she realizes it's a high bed, don't jump. She'll be in the bed. But I am going to get the wireless fence so that when I start taking her with me, I just program it, and she's going to have the same perimeter, and I'll train her to the perimeters at each place. And I can just take it with me and set it up, and she'll have a safety range. And that's what I'm going to do. That seems, with me going back and forth so much, it just seems like the thing to do. So, but I got home, the RV's gone, and maybe things are going to get a little bit better here. I don't know. That's the hope. That's the hope. Oh, thank you, Sally. I'm wanting to do an armadillo, but I always get caught up with something else. But this is my third possum. This is a really cute pattern, and I like her patterns a lot. I want to do a crawdad. I've got the pattern, and I've got the yarn, but I always get tangled up in something else. But I will do a few of these and tell David to put them on his Etsy shop, because it's a protected payment platform for y'all. And if you want one, if you then want it to have the split tail toggle so you can put it in your vehicle, just put it in a message to the seller, and he'll tell me, and I'll put a split tail toggle on it for you. So it'll hang like this, but then it'll have like 5 inches on each side you can loop around your windshield or your mirror. on your windshield. I don't care a bit to do that. Alright, my tablet's gonna die, so I'm gonna have to say adios. But it's nice checking in with you. I'm glad y'all got to see Luna for a minute. She's doing great. We're all doing great. I'm running back and forth. Busier than a one-legged man in a butt kicking contest. And I think Mom's slowed down until June the 11th. Then we'll pick back up for the end of June. But right now, all is going well, and I'm doing better back at my normal dose. I feel almost completely fine now. I see the endocrinologist July the 1st to reevaluate that. But everything else is going good. Life is moving forward. Vegetables growing. Farm maintained. Dad's garden still looks like a golf course. We're all good. So thanks for all the good energy and prayers. And I'll have David Tippins off, or I'll try to leave a video message when I get the possums done. So if you want one, it's going to be 15 plus shipping. Etsy will determine that. And I'll let you know when David puts the ads up. It'll take me a few days to make them. I appreciate you, though. Since we got my medicine back, I feel a lot better. So I think that's all it was. Heart's doing great. I've only had to take the secondary heart medicine one time in the last 5 days. So most likely it was medication created. So don't know what we're going to do from here. Probably going to lose thyroid. But I'm okay with that because it's a turd. I'm okay with that. So we'll see what she says July the 1st, and I'll let you know. But right now I'm feeling a lot better and a lot more energy, a lot more smiles. Luna's helping. So just keep us in your prayers. Keep Mom in your prayers. And the new baby and my nephew's family in your prayers. And we got a lot to look forward to. So we're just all smiles right now and doing well. So I appreciate you hanging on. David's doing some stuff to upload for you. And he'll get it up as he gets it edited and stuff. I'll help when I can, but I'm just... Hang on, I'm back and forth, y'all. And when I'm down there, I'm busy, but I'm trying. So I'll see you in a couple more days before my battery dies. Bye, guys.